Welcome back, everybody. This is the Rally Cry Collegiate Series presented by the U.S. Army National Guard, and we are just about to get underway with our first top 8 match of the weekend. That's right, we have sped through to the quarterfinals here in the bracket, and it is Boise State going up against the University of Cal in a best of 7 with pretty decent implications on the line to qualify for playoffs a couple weeks down the line. I'm Galgan alongside Relic. You know the deal by now. Relic, best of 7, Boise State, Cal, what you think?
I think that, listen, we are certified fast boys. It's just taken a little bit of time to get up into 7th gear, but now we're there. I think that we're going to see a spectacular performance from Boise State. Personally speaking, I feel like it's so difficult to root for the underdog when there is such a perceived gulf in out-and-out talent, let's say, but when has out-and-out talent ever mattered in Rocket League? When has team play ever mattered in Rocket League? Never, I say. Therefore, I shall inhale my copium and I shall believe that we're going to be in for a fantastic series that goes the distance.
I mean, if the players on Cal just hit the ball into the net more often than the players on Boise State do,
Exactly.
like right there, you just win the series. It's as simple as that. I don't know why people don't do that. I don't know why my ranked teammates don't do that. I think they must just be on a different version of the game or something. Maybe they don't have their monitor turned on. But at the end of the day, I am hoping at the very least for, I don't know, because it feels so wrong sitting here being like, oh, I hope for 2 games for Cal. I hope for a competitive.
I haven't even seen them play today. It's they're done for. It's all over. It's like me watching my personal soccer team, Swansea. It's like they're relegated already. It's right. The end of the road. We've turned up. An ex-player's playing for them. They're gonna score. It's obvious. It's not. It's not obvious. Listen, it's part of the joy of being a commentator sometimes, where you sound smart because you provide all of this concrete evidence and past results, and you're like, clearly it can go no other way, but then it does, and everyone looks silly except the team that's just done the incredible thing. So as much as we're painting this picture of complete and utter domination, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. A single second of Rocket League has yet to be played. Let us judge them upon the conclusion of maybe 2 or 3 games.
Trust me, as a fan of the Philadelphia Eagles, I know this feeling all too well, because they started the season 10-1, and the average fan would think, wow, that's a pretty good winning record. It was a lot of fraudulent play, and it was exposed in the second half of the season, and every single time the game started, you get 1 touchdown scored against the Eagles. Yep, that's it. Game's over. See you next week for more disappointment. So I know that feeling all too well, and I'm hoping that Cal doesn't have to feel the same way that I, along with every other Eagles fan, had to feel for the entire finale of the past NFL season.
Most certainly, right. We are getting actual positive confirmation word that we should be getting into game sooner rather than later. Thank you so much for being so patient, folks. We really do appreciate it. We understand you've been sitting there for a hot second, but I hope that you've taken the time to at least stretch your legs or grab some water. We love you. We want you to look after yourselves. That is... it's a heartfelt message, just a month of love. We want to spread that, Galgan, but we also do want some Rocket League, most importantly. We want to see this esport being played. And let us remind ourselves for what they're playing for, of course, $6,000, but that is at the end of a multi-week tournament of multiple brackets, of which over the next couple of days, of course, it's 100 points up for grabs. And for Boise State, let us reiterate. Oh, that was a nice rhyme. They need this. They are sitting on nothing at the moment, so they really do need a big haul since, goodness, at the conclusion of this bracket, we're already at the halfway stage of league play.
Right, I do agree with you, but at the same time, and I get to bring up my fancy in-progress leaderboard that I've been working on.
Oh, yes.
Boise State and Oakland, as Boise State finally hits the field here for this best of 7. While they are on 0 points coming into today, they've already secured 10 just by making it to this round of 8 in the quarterfinals.
True.
Big save early on, however. That puts Boise State ahead of a good amount of teams in the field. Actually locks Boise State into a playoff spot if they were to start today, but we know that's not the case. They've got to work for it. They've got to earn it. Every single point fought for here. The University of Cal will try to do whatever they can to stop that run.
To be fair, not conceding in the first 30 seconds, that is something that, as we learned last week, Galgan, really does set you up for a decent rest of the game. And in fact, Well, there was no conceding there. That was an insane save from the swaggy doctor himself. Boise State coming out swinging. Woozy now off the backboard. The follow-up for Preston is another save, this time from Sybil Pangolin.
Good contact made, but it looks a bit too methodical right now for Boise State. They don't seem too troubled on the push forward, taking their time, taking the best possible angle. Preston goes up, beautiful double down, and that's how Boise State are going to punish you.
I enjoy the patience of this play. Yeah, they speed it up. Yeah, they commit one player, but then it's just not wanting to rush in, not to set up, but to go for the shot themselves. And they achieve that angle beautifully. The drop down on target, it's all that you could ask for. Excellent opening goal here from Boise State. They take the lead in the opening minute.
Surely more in the tank. University of Cal, on the other end, it may look scrappy at times, a bit strung out it seems, but maybe they piece something together. Maybe all those pieces fall into place. Bacon with a nice little robbery here. Doc Swag, quick to the touch. Wall, that's fairly open, and Durtho has to stretch for it, so there's a chance. Nice center pass to Bacon. 1-2-1. Hey-o, University of Cal, big start.
Time to start up the trimmer because we're going lawn mowing here. That's a beautiful 1-2 back to Sybil Pangolin. Puts it away beautifully near post as well. Difficult since Preston's already making that run to the near post to go and make the save. So it's a narrow window of opportunity, but it is an opportunity that University of Cal grabbed with both hands. Excellent equalizer.
Love that play. Got it to the back wall, made Durtho stretch, and then immediately realized they had the upper hand. Cal with a really strong response, but can Boise State bring it right back? Woozy goes to the corner looking for more. Certainly has the boost to get it done. Going 1-for-1 against Doc Swag. And now opposite corner. Try it again from the flip side as Doc Swag looks for a clear. Pulls off. Pangol in with a slow roller. Now picked up by Bacon. And what a pinch save by Durtho.
And they're going to go right down the other side here, box to box. They miss out on the 100, and they kind of flounder at the play. But look at the setup. Oh, never mind. They set up a huge mistake. That was a goal on a plate. Denied, as they would say, heading towards halftime. Boise State should be 2-1 up Galgan, and yet somehow they are not. Or maybe they are. No, they're not. Never mind. It's another huge save.
Actually insane. This series not nearly as far gone as we had concluded, at least as far as the early indications give us here in game one. Woozy trying to hit Preston. It goes far side, immediately turns it back. Quick turn, first one to the ball, sends a bouncer. No. And it's not the shot that Boise State wanted, but it's the shot that they'll score on.
I like Preston. It's a sharp turn, sets it up for Woozy. There's really not too much that Bacon can do there. To be fair, if Woozy did know that Bacon was making that run and was aiming for him to try and get that redirect, giga brain play. Either way, it is the goal that is most important. Doesn't matter how it's scored, Galgan. I would say that the state of affairs has righted itself as University of Cal now have to go looking for another.
And I think that goal is very picturesque of what we expect out of Cal. The mistakes being made are something that Boise State's going to be on top of all series long. So you've got to watch yourself. It's a very difficult question to ask of any Rocket League player, but so many opportunities come down to defensive positioning. Boise State are just going to run right over you if you give them the chance.
I'm sorry, you can't just stand still in the middle of the road and expect the car to just drive into you. You got to credit Boise State for honestly just capitalizing on that fear that they see in their opponents and almost playing with their food to walk their way to the back of the goal. That's the most egregious in terms of mistakes we've seen from University of Cal. That's a big team mentality gift that they've got to try and overcome. Still 2 goals behind though, Galgan. Not the end of the world. A third, however, and we might be talking about game 1 done and dusted already.
Less than 100 to play here in the first of potentially 7. Double commit in the corner, not quite the effect that Boise State want to keep their push alive, but Preston remains unfazed, goes for a flip reset from midfield. Durtho will have a challenge here on the no boost Doc Swag, and decent positioning to keep Cal at least with a fighting chance, but Durtho has taken over. Back wall blocks with the double, just absolutely stuffing that one against the back line. Cal struggling to get this push into fruition, and it's largely due to the fact, again, that they have to space out very far and launch from far and away just to make contact with the ball, let alone follow it up with the resources that they already expended.
Yeah, Boise State are actually playing a lot more conservatively, playing a lot more keep ball, but now on the counter-attack, on the transition, well, it was 3v1. They decide to go wide just to burn a little more time off the clock, and that does force UOC into a little bit more of a precarious position. They simply have to commit forces forward, but one of those forces has been destroyed in the midfield. And again, Boise State just playing keep away. So frustrating for the team in blue, but again, you've got to credit the team in front. They are managing this beautifully.
Woozy now to try and put the icing on the cake. Beautiful center pass, and Dirt, though, has a clear target to slam that one home. Boise State, what started out as a close affair, has become a comfortable finish.
Yeah, just a lovely flick and fill from Woozy, and Dirtho was there on the same wavelength, capitalizing again on Cal sending too many players forward, which they kind of need to do at this stage in the game. To be fair, you see they're a team that look really, really comfortable in possession, and the goal that they scored, Galgan, let's just not forget, gorgeous. Beautiful, shows that they really do know a thing or two about stringing together team plays, and even here that's a decent setup. But as the game has gone on and as the goals have gone in, they have struggled more, they have panicked more, and their defensive frailties have been opened. I think there's certainly a good foundation to work with here going into game number 2, but it's a foundation that they're going to have to very quickly build upon, otherwise Boise State are just going to steamroll over them for the rest of the series.
While they've been busy building, Boise State have built themselves a small series lead to kick things off. 0 seconds won't do anything to change the result, and put down into the ground as the side in orange notches 1 on their tally. But you bring up a very good point about Cal, the pieces falling into place. We see flashes of brilliance there for Cal. They have the mechanical ability. The team plays, especially with the goal that they scored, fantastic. But how often can you replicate that over the course of an entire game, over the course of an entire series? It's something that, against your average, evenly matched opponent for Cal, it's something easier said than done. Against an opponent like Boise State, it's something that is necessary. There is no more time to be messing about and trying to go through trial and error to figure out a series win. You've got to have it on lock from the very first step.
Yeah, and the issue with going all eggs into one basket, that you can go for a low ball passing play sort of style, should you so wish. But again, that kind of requires the manpower to have someone available in open space at all times. And so naturally, that leaves areas of the pitch where one hard clearance out into that area and all of a sudden everybody's chasing back, and it's a 50-50 as to who's going to get there first, / who's actually going to hop on that ball and potentially set up something thereafter. And that's a risk that UOC, they're willing to play with it, certainly, but how often have they been on the ball for an elongated period of time to set themselves up in that position in the first place? There's a big disconnect between what they want and where they are at right now. Time to find the thread.
It's tough to get possession, keep it for that long when Boise State, just being the ball hogs that they are, but they have every right to do so. Look at the control here from Preston trying to find Woozy. Down from the corner, ceiling early on. Doc Swag brings it back the other way, but everybody from Cal is so far pushed up, they think that challenge is going to stuff itself and find it sitting square along the goal line.
Okay.
And hey, you know what? Maybe it does on the second attempt. Doc Swag puts it home.
I think this is the first major gripe I've got with Boise State, where it felt like everybody was ready to transition, but everyone had also forgotten the ball. and so in this occasion, Cal's high press works in their favor. They're able to spin on a dime, and because of that overload of players, they're able to find the back of the net. It's the first lead that they've had all series long, but it's so early in the game. Can they keep it?
It's a real difficult issue for them to play with it. I hold my breath because I thought we were getting the equalizer right there, but Boise State will have to work just a bit harder. You can see how calm they are in the offensive zone. No, Preston got that one all the way out, but nobody wanted to commit just yet. Woozy now off the back wall. Dirt, though, goes 1, 2, 3 off the bar again. Second shot saved away. Woozy with another quick pop. And Doc Swag uses all the boost to get it clear, but may not have done enough. Rung off the crossbar. Woozy goes back. And the defense holds strong, however scrappy for Cal, but not for very much longer.
And Boise State's so good that they're willing to play defense for their opponents a couple of times. That's a gorgeous shot. What a great save from Bacon as well. Well read. And over the top of one to Silver Pangolin. It's 1 versus 2. Flicks it past the second. Was looking at that final bump that Preston reads to play very nicely indeed. Here's Bacon up in the face. Doesn't get a piece of the ball. Over to the far side of the pitch here. Woozy continues to drive forward. Doc Swag manages to throw it into the corner, and now is going to try and run downfield, but no boost. Has to rotate back in. Maybe the wrong decision because it gave Silver Pangolin no out, and it's back in Boise hands. defense.
You can see the midfield line fully dominant by Boise State in their positioning, and they've clearly got it on lockdown.
Yes.
It results in scoring chances like that. You don't get a passing play that deep in the zone without establishing a chokehold on the defense.
I do appreciate pinpoint precision. That is outstanding accuracy from Woozy, who I believe notches up their second goal of the entire series, and what a peach it was as well. So narrow, so narrow a lane to try and shoot through. Bacon was in a pretty decent position. Off the kickoff, almost gets a goal for their own. Big save again from Preston at the back. Tie game as we head toward the 3-minute mark.
Would have been a good start, good foot in the door though for Cal. If they can break this one is all they get. Curse. Woozy doesn't want to make that happen though, misses on the air dribble. There'll be a quick clear back, advantage in numbers on the transition play as Bacon tries to center. Blocked away immediately at that near post. Civil Pangolin, no other luck. Doc Swag getting ambushed by every Boise State player, and the clear's not fast enough to punish the fact that Boise State all pushed up with that ball at the midfield line. A rare opportunity for Cal to try and find a lane through, and they do. But no real mainstay, no real pressure that Boise State feels. They can just take their time on this clearance, even though it still looks very high strung out.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you can see that UOC are definitely playing a little bit above their station right now. Every action does seem a little bit strained. Case in point, the defense torn apart by their own actions, and Woozy notches up a second of the game.
That's a real problem when you understand that Boise State have so much more pace. You feel like you have to be the first one to the ball at all times, and that's why you see those awkward movements. That's why you see the players from Cal trying to jump against their own goal just to redirect it out of the danger zone. It's a move that panicked defenses have to make in order to clear their lines as quickly as possible. But again, that's exactly where Boise State want Cal right now. They can just take the ball away for free in most cases.
And look at how far up the field all of the Cal players were as well. All three of them in the final third of the pitch. It just took 150 going in favor of Boise State to not just clear the lines, but set up a fully fledged counter-attack. It requires another big save. Speaking of, there's one at the near post, but too many players once again are called into action. They run out of reinforcements, and Woozy's got his hat trick.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting a massive case of deja vu. This just feels like we've gone and put game one on repeat, in a sense, where Cal have a strong start. They understand exactly what needs to get done in order for themselves to not only hold possession, but show they've got the mechanical gift, they've got the team plays on lock. And then it feels like they just didn't quite stock up the gas tanks enough. They run out of that energy as it goes on. And sure, there are fading chances like this clearance here, but at the end of the day, it's a combination. Misses from all three players who went for the ball, transition back, and there's your fourth goal. Boise State continue.
The goal for Preston in the series, and I mean, it's such an unnecessary touch. It was on target from Dirtho anyway. Complete flub from Doc Swag, who's trying to save it whilst also flying backwards towards his own net. This is a proper capitulation this time around from the University of Cal. The big difference for me between game one and game two, Galgan, being that Cal had that lead. You know, they had something to work with, and Boise State, you hit the nail on the head. They were just waiting for the mistakes from their opponents, and the mistakes have come aplenty.
It's such an odd circumstance, though, it feels like, because in the reality where Cal strings together everything over the course of 5 consecutive minutes, that this game probably gets closer to an overtime, but we're not there right now. They've got a minute at a time in each of these games, and Boise State is just waiting for that minute to expire and then running over. All of the Cal players have no reason to be that close to each other in the defensive zone at the near post. They're going to get beat on anything. So you start to ask a lot of questions for this University of Cal side, and I don't know if you can answer all of them before the next 2 games are over.
7 shots on target. Dirtho finally gets his first goal for University of Cal. Literally just scoring 2 goals right now, I feel, is the aim of the game. Scoring 1 is fine, but this is, it's literally giving me a traumatic experience. This is literally Swansea 101 right now. They manage to score somewhat, but then they give up a bajillion chances. And when you give up a bajillion chances, you're bound to concede 1 or 2 at the end of it. Less than 20 seconds left. It is administrative time for Boise State, who now find themselves on 2-0. Halfway there, but they're most certainly not living on a prayer. This is all their own ability. Oh, never mind. That's also all their own ability, or lack thereof, I guess.
You know what? Take it for the road. Why not? Breaking the 1-goal curse if even it only lived for a single game. But now I get to go back to the fun point that we had last weekend, where maybe they're on that linear progression. It's 1 goal in game 1, 2 goals in game 2. That kind of scares me because it feels like Boise State will score 10 by the time we get to game 4. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I think Boise State are happy to be where they are right now, still as comfortable as ever.
Well, look, that's his first goal of the season, and so, hey, not of the season, sorry, of the series, I should clarify. But it's a monkey off the back, so to speak. Going by your logic, they are at a continual disadvantage, Cal, because they'd be going 1, 2, 3, 4, whereas their opponents are going 4, 5, 6, 7 potentially. So it's the eternal question for Rocket League teams. How does them stop the goals? And it's much trickier to figure that out because you can't just say, well, stop the mistakes. It's never that simple because there's so many mitigating factors.
Yeah, that's, again, mentioned it during game 1, where it's like Boise State is not the team that you want to be making several mistakes against because they're going to be preying on every single downfall that you give them an opportunity to do so. But on top of that, like, you're right on it. Fixing the mistakes is just one drop in the bucket towards beating a team like Boise State, because if you're not making the mistakes, Boise State is going to force them out of you. And part of the reason why we've seen this stretched out gameplay, it feels like, from Cal, and the fact that they're racing to every ball, they feel like they have to win the race, even if nobody from Boise State is immediately pressuring the ball, is because Cal understands the threat of what's going to happen if they allow anybody from Boise State to take the ball into their hands. That is a very dangerous precedent to set, because rather than knowing you can win whatever challenge you set out to take, it's, I don't want to take a challenge against a player from Boise State. How am I going to hit the ball faster than them? And that kind of limits your play style. Boise State then can either prey on the miss from whatever Cal player goes for that hit, or just wait for the Cal player to put it somewhere where there's no teammate to follow up, and then Boise State just get a free possession again.
Boise State playing boisterously and with good reason. Seeing the University of Cal defense just about able to save away, to transition downfield. Getting a goal here or there, sure, but how many can we score is always the question, seemingly just on the breadth of their lips. But let's see whether Cal can get themselves 1-0 up. That is that's Takumi, and that is a battle bus, unhinged. The team comp, it seems, for University of Cal.
Yeah, we've got the Watermelon Octane as well, so the full gamut here. Listen, I mean, if it works, it works, I guess. I feel like they had a good thing going for them in the opening minute. They didn't really need that much of a mental shakeup, but maybe these cars get stronger as they go on. Bacon! I'm not going to say that if you're in a different car, that ball goes in the goal. I am going to say there's a pretty good chance. There's like a non-zero chance that ends up a little different.
They need belief, and maybe through the power of Fortnite, they can believe. Oh. Unfortunately, that belief only stretches as far as 0-0, and Woozy has changed that scoreline.
Boise State, Fortnite, cringe. Absolute cringe. They do not care. 347. I mean, who does not think the series will be a sweep? Put your hand up. I'd like to have a word with you. I think Boise State would probably have a word with you first and foremost, because, again, it just, nothing in my mind tells me that Boise State are worried in the slightest. They're waiting for misses from Cal. They're just playing their own game, their own brand. The ball doesn't even really need to go on target in some cases. Now, Cal have had some breakaways, like they do here on the transition. It's 2-on-1, but Preston just has so much time off the sideball. It's a third uninterrupted touch and nearly a wonderful goal. This is almost a 3-0, but the one player who respawns from the demo gets it on transition, and of course Boise State score.
That is a huge mistake from Bacon. Unfortunately, just cracks at the pivotal moment. Awful touch straight into the hands of a player who can throw it right downfield. from a 3v1 into a 2v no one. And speaking of, it is 2v nothing now in terms of the scoreline as well. It does seem like an inevitability for Boise State, but University of Cal, they are not helping themselves, and that's frustrating, Galvin, because we've seen flashes of true brilliance.
You truly have. But listen, as we go on, I have to do this because you know me. I'm the results guy when it comes to tournaments where other matches are happening while our match is happening. Boise State, one of the newcomers in the field, had 18 teams in the previous leaderboard, now up to 20. Boise State and Oakland University was the other newcomer. Oakland University are out. They are done by the hand of UT Dallas, who have managed to squeak their way into the top 4 at the very least. So it'll be 10 points, all that Oakland managed to grab. Boise State looking for a better performance than their newcomer compadres.
UT Dallas are just playing a different game, I'm convinced at this point. They form? What form? Oh, this form? Okay, I guess. Speaking of form not going in favor of Cal, as another shot goes high, but not particularly wide. I think, quite frankly, it's just a case of playing for time for Boise State. University of Cal still knocking on the door, trying to find a goal, but that door on their side is looking pretty rickety, off the hinges. I mean, we did call them unhinged earlier on with this particular sort of car pick, not swag over so particularly extravagant, and that's a great passing field action to Mangolan, but decent defense from Boise. Good to see they're not getting too overconfident.
Oh, demos are flying as well. Had one on Bacon to try and break up Hal's sequence. Woozy was traded back in transition to slow down Boise State. Woozy responds with a solid save. Custom with a challenge early here. Sent back to the corner shot opportunity, but too quick on the jump. Bacon in that battle bus. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to say Bacon is in the battle bus right now. And Civil Pangolin trying to get the clear out. Doc Swag with the catch and collect. First touch is a bit too far. Still gets the double down with a crossbar. Just a couple pixels too high.
But that was their best opportunity of the game, Galgan, and when you're talking about a 5%er as your best chance of the game, you know that you really are struggling. Even that one moment of brilliance seems to have escaped them in game number 3, although that is a rather devilish pass back into a dangerous area. Woozy has to throw it off to the side, picks up 100 and just buys time beautifully for his team to reset back into a defensive shape. 30 seconds left, time running out. Time enough to score 2, Galgan. I very much doubt it, however.
Bacon, though, tries to make it happen against 2, and listen, it forced a lot of Boise State into that play, but Preston, rings it up. How did you even begin to predict something like that? I think you just put a hand up and hope for the best, and my goodness, it's not going to change the outcome of this game, but wow, to not concede a third there. That might just be the mental kick that Cal needed.
I mean, we've had some extraordinary saves in this series, haven't we? And it's so sad that the majority of them have come from Cal, but they've lost every single game so far. The performance doesn't matter. You need results at this point, because you lose another one, you're out of the bracket. You go home with 10 points, but that's all you're getting, brother. So look, the reverse sweep is looking unlikely, right? I said, let's judge them 3 games in. It's looking unlikely. No more mistakes from here on out. It's as simple as that. If they do that, they can maybe win. I'm not even going to say 100% win. Boise State just looking that comfortable.
Absolutely. Speaking of looking comfortable, our previous weekend's runners-up in Southern Miss Coca-Cola, they have advanced to the semifinals, taking a 6-game victory over the Drexel Dragons. That puts Drexel on a points total of 15. They are firmly in the middle of the table right now. Southern Miss Coca-Cola, a minimum of 85 points once they walk away from this weekend. If Southern Miss Coca-Cola does not make it to the final but wins that 3rd place match, they will be tied with our current leaderboard leaders in Oklahoma Christian. Anything better than a 3rd place finish puts Southern Miss Coca-Cola, barring any other wild results, in the number 1 spot. I believe there's not really a chance for anybody else to grab that, because UT Dallas would have 110 points if they ended up winning this. We'll figure out the math at a later stage. Do we think the reverse sweep is in the cards? The cards have not changed for the University of Cal, so I have to believe we are seeing a legacy game here from Bacon on the battle bus. I will not be convinced of any other result.
if it's in the cards, I think I want my money back from Mystic Meg, Galgan. I wouldn't be too trusting of that service from here on out. Or maybe mysticism and such is just a state of mind. That's a gorgeous ball into the central area, by the way, but Dogswag does really nicely to throw it off to the side where they find Dirtho. Oh my goodness! Oh wow! And eventually Woozy does put it in. But again, the heroics of University of Cal, they cannot go understated enough.
And if I'm Woozy in comms, I'm just saying this is all me. Like 100%, that's all me on the goal. And nobody else did anything to set it up, clearly. You gotta have a little bit of fun with it. I feel like Cal, at this point, they understand this mechanical step up that the players on Boise State can take. It's all about trying to get in their face, but when you jump to commit to a wonderful mechanical display like Dirtho had from the back wall, I mean, there's only so much that you can hope for in the follow-through. So Boise State get the lead in the game that will lead to their sweep in this best of 7. Dirtho goes wide. Thought that was a clear second. Still have one defender on the line. Bacon goes for a quick clear. Dogswag turns it around.
Oh, it's
and
in!
It's right under the bar. There's your equalizer.
Goal number 2 for Dogswag. I mean, honestly, what a slicing pass from Bacon. If it doesn't have that velocity, it doesn't set up the connection that Dogswag eventually gets. This has to be the shot in the arm, Galgan. It really is last chance saloon.
We'll have to see. The momentum can stay through yet to watch this University of Cal roster maintain it through the full 5 minutes. Another pass and shot finds its way through, but the near post unforgiving. Challenges here at the middle of the field. Dogswag looks to catch and collect and do it all themselves as they put it just wide of the target. Woozy still registers a save as Dirtho goes up from the ceiling. No boost, no problem. Little follow underneath though, so not a whole lot of resources for Boise State to get back. It doesn't matter. Preston immediately blocks. Woozy picks up the follow through, and there's Dirtho completely unfazed. Like, that's not a sequence that Boise State should get an offensive transition out of, and yet they execute it like it's on the back of their hand.
Oh, the precision as well. Again, knows that Sybil Pangolin's going for the round the back of the net sort of save and just goes, he shoots super low and hits the mark beautifully. There isn't really even enough time for the ball to bounce off the ground before it's hit the back of the net. It's almost lackadaisical in nature. It is so chill, you might as well put it in the freezer. But University of Cal, they're still trying to turn up the whip now. They're trying to turn up the fire, the flames, the passion. But more passion, more energy. It only gets you a couple of chances, and against Boise State, you need to put at least one of them away.
There's only so much that the heart of the cards can get you in Rocket League, although it would be very interesting if we had, you know, like the card launchers, the Yu-Gi-Oh card launchers in here. I don't know what kind of implication that would have in a game like Rocket League, but hey, I mean, if we need new content ideas, you know where to find me. I will probably produce some of the worst ones, but I mean, no content needed here for this series. Every single clear on target for Boise State gets even more threatening. That was a close attempt at a center pass in transition, but the demo removes any chance for Cal to get some capitulation in that regard. Another challenge that Preston wins out as Dogswag just wants to lay this out of the danger zone. But it feels like every area of the pitch is the danger zone when it comes to Boise State.
Could Rocket League take a leaf out of Apex Legends and go for car trucks? Questions for another day. 2 minutes left, and this ain't over. Still a 1-goal game. Bacon is on target. Preston with another save, and it's straight to Woozy. It's straight into the blue half. Wave dashing, not taking any chances. They want to be merciless. They want that daylight, but they're not going to get it. The breakaway now for University of Cal. Dogswag going into the eastern corner, leaves it, goes for the boost. Downtown, Silver Pangolin holds it up at the midfield line. Nice recontrol here, down to Dogswag. Demo, it's on Woozy. I think that was a shot. I don't think it was on target. Dirtho, oh, what a great fake. Oh, no way! No way! No way did we just witness that in real time.
For everything that Cal does on their end to try and score, Dirtho just says, hold this L. Boise State cannot be stopped. The march continues on. Listen, we knew it was going to be a dominant series, but not like this.
What do we even call that? I don't think I've ever seen a goal scored in that particular fashion before. The little dink off the grass into the jump. I think they utilised the jump or the flip incredible, just incredible. And if that isn't the cherry on top of this finely baked cake, then I don't know what is. But hold the phone. We're going to throw some devilish ingredients into the mix. Civil Pangolin makes it interesting for the last 60.
So Durtho tries to bait Dog Swag up into the wall, but doesn't have the momentum to carry the ball through, and everybody else from Boise State's out of rotation. I can understand trying to fake a player through, but I feel like you have to have somebody behind you for that to work. And whether or not Woozy, I mean, rotating in through the near post, I'm overthinking things at a certain point. It's good on Cal to take advantage of a situation like that, and they have about a minute. Come on, Bacon, this is the goal you need. No boost in the tank, though. It's not going to come easily. Civil Pangolin jumps up early, but Preston is clear. Doc Swag will have to go in and out to save this one. Bacon pulls it out and away. Clear through Civil Pangolin. Quick shot. Crossbar off the top corner. And Doc Swag's not there fast enough. Walking it down is Preston. And it goes post to post.
Words escape me, Galgan. Durtho, though, seems to have some sort of clarity through the miss. Oh, it's like a dagger into the chest of University of Cal. Woozy thrusts it upon So, and that might be all she wrote.
And somehow we get one of the craziest endings to a game here, and it's gonna be a sweep. Everybody's looking at the scoreboard like, why is this so intense? It doesn't need to be this crazy, but Cal have made it so, and unfortunately in some very sad ways against them. 10 seconds left. The game is over. The series is over. It was a hard-fought series from Cal, but Boise State are a different breed. They will secure, at the very least, 25 points, but most importantly, a berth into the semifinals tomorrow.
Indeed they will, and very well managed, I think. We have to re-emphasize this time and time again, especially when it seemed like nothing was going Cal's way. It's so easy to get complacent, to oversell yourselves and to get punished for that. But despite the many punishments that Cal could inflict over the course of that series, it was never enough to just overturn the fluency of play and also just the collective calmness from Boise State. That's the most ominous thing for me. I mean, we talk about Cal body language sometimes. This is a team that looked completely and utterly unfazed throughout the entire affair.
That's the biggest thing for me too, is when you look on the side of Cal, there were chances in transition. They were moving quickly. They had the pace that you expect from a team at this level, which is a great first step. You've got to bring the ball with you, and far too often Cal were the ones chasing, trying to keep up with the pace of play. Like I said earlier on in the series, they were scared of what Boise State could do with the ball, so the implication then becomes, how are we going to take the ball away immediately? That doesn't always result in the touch that you want on the first effort, and I think that's where, in response, you get a lot of opportunities for Boise State to step in, take possession, take control, get several passing plays going. But I mean, flashback to the very beginning of the series, right? And the first goal that we saw Cal score, beautiful, grounded passing play. If you get some more of that, we start to talk about going the distance in this series, but just not having that sort of composure over the course of an entire game and the entire series, I feel like that's what ended up leading to Cal's downfall.
I don't know whether you'd agree with me fully on this, but I think that Cal's very much a team that they had us in the first half. When they're in possession and when they're feeling it, they are clearly a team with bags of quality. But on it's such a difficult thing to ask of this team, especially mid-season. It feels like the thing that they need to improve upon most is their mentality. It feels like when they go behind, they're not going to get back into the game. At least not fully, not into an equalizer, and certainly not into a go-ahead goal or a second go-ahead goal in some cases.
And we take a look at some of the replays here. Again, you get some of those early goals from Cal, the chances that they had, but I cannot overstate how much Boise State looked calm, cool, and composed in the most definitive way. You open up the dictionary to that phrase, it wouldn't have that phrase in there. They're all different words. They do all start with C. I don't know where I'm going with this. Every single goal from Boise State just looked like they knew exactly what was happening before the pass even started. And that is something that you cannot teach an individual to do. They've got to learn it as a team. Now, we see goals like that towards the end. Yes, a couple mistakes from Boise State that Cal are able to jump on. And maybe as we get further into the tournament, especially if we see Boise State tomorrow in either the semifinals or the grand final, if they make it there are mistakes being made. There are times where Boise State pushes up together a bit too quickly. What can another team do to try and punish some of that? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it really does feel like we just need to see a team that's a little bit more composed, and maybe Boise State themselves will crack, but that's asking a lot, isn't it? And I think honestly, this is the goal. This is the goal. Oh, that is disgusting. Not even a jump or a flip utilized. It's just physics, baby. And when you've got a player who can, like, Durtho came away with the least goals, by the way, and yet he's able to pop off so spectacularly. And in those last moments too, where it's a little bit crazy, might very well have swung violently in favor of University of Cal, maybe forcing an overtime, still Boise State were able to ride out the waves and get it to the end. And really the stats reflect so much. I'm surprised that they actually put up 19 saves. A credit to University of Cal for how many shots, quality shots that they put on target. Boise State, though, speaking of waves, they are the tsunami in Rocket League form, just continually assaulting the net, sometimes out of their own quality, sometimes out of the lack of presence from University of Cal. But you play what you put up against Skowhegan, and in this case, they played against their opponents very well indeed.
There are plenty of hypotheticals to deal with for Cal moving out of this series, but they walk away with 10 points, a 5-point improvement from last weekend for a total of 15 on the leaderboard. However, it's Boise State with a sweep. They advance to the semifinals here in the second weekend of play for the Rally Cry Collegiate Series presented by Army National Guard. There are 3 quarterfinals that have now been completed, with Southern Miss, Coca-Cola, and UT Dallas both advancing to the semifinals to play each other. Boise State making it out of the quarterfinals still have to find out who their opponent will be. Will it be the Pescados of Fisher University or Terps Esports from the University of Maryland? That quarterfinal is coming up after this short break.